Hello everyone, we're here at the Bridge Healing Arts Center in Farmington, Connecticut, and today we have Lori from WorkIt, who Lori is one of my favorite people when I came here. I know I say that a lot, but you really were.
Really?
Yes.
Do you mean it?
I do. No, I do, right? We bonded, the squirrel thing you told me
Yes.
about. You told me something about the squirrel
Yeah.
thing. There was something, oh, you called us the bullies of the bullies or something
Yeah,
like that.
we
That
are
was
the
really
bully of
cute.
the bullies.
I really thought that was cute.
Yeah,
So-
that's a really good talking point
I like
right
it.
there. The bully of the bullies.
So, we have some props for Lori. Lori comes prepared. And here we have WorkIt. Well, Lori's company, what's your name is WorkIt? Is that the
WorkIt.
name of your company?
It
or
is.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that name?
I actually had a dream about it, and
Get
it
out
came
of
out in a
here.
dream. Yeah. And the main reason for me creating this business was being 30 years in HR and seeing a lot of resumes, of course. You see a lot of resumes that describe experience,
Okay.
but you don't see many resumes that describe passion.
Oh.
And so I was getting to the root of an opportunity, and that opportunity was within high school students, which was what I thought. And I decided to leave manufacturing after 30 years to create this WorkIt
30
business.
years. You look like you're 20.
Thank you.
What 30 years?
Thank you. Probably didn't see sunlight as much as I should have. That's probably so being able to help people identify what their true passion is, starting with personality strengths, and then moving into what it is that they would like to fix in the world,
Okay.
or contribute to the world, or sustain in the world. So
Okay.
there's different, there's different personalities. There's servants, there's the bully of the bullies, which are the directors that love people, and then there's the directors that don't need people as much as we do, and those are the bullies.
Okay.
And or I call them the solopreneurs versus the entrepreneurs.
Oh, okay, right,
Yeah,
right. I remember you
so-
saying that once. I thought that was so great.
Yeah, so I help students, which when I started my business, I thought it was going to be high school and college students, and I realized that there was an opportunity to go much deeper. And I decided to try it with junior high school students to
Okay.
see if I could actually capture their career path, and
Right.
it worked.
Wow.
And I've gone as low as 9 years old, and it's working.
I think sometimes the younger ones are more in tune to their past lives or their life between lives or whatever
Right.
you believe. So they're more connected because they haven't been socialized yet so
Correct.
much. Is that
Yeah.
what you're finding, or is it?
Yeah, there's less
Because they're
fear.
more open.
There's less
Okay,
fear.
There's less fear.
Yep.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I work with high school students, college students, as well as junior high school students now.
Okay.
It's 3 years into building this program,
Okay.
which is unique. I believe I'm the only one in the United States that actually works to actually identify a career path
Right.
and
As
create
opposed to,
personality strengths alone.
okay.
And making recommendations. There's a lot of personality and career plan or career counseling tools for high school students that give them some vague ideas of where they could research,
Mhm.
some potential good fields to get into.
Mhm.
My program is designed to actually narrow that down and get right to where their true passion is.
And how do you deal with, because I've heard before that, I don't know, in how many years the jobs that are around today are going to be obsolete and they're going to be totally new jobs that we don't even know about.
Correct.
How do you deal with that when you're dealing with a 9-year-old?
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
What I'm finding, and I actually asked myself, how is this going to evolve?
Mhm.
And it's amazing that these children actually come out with the answers.
Really?
They introduce me to new paths that I have never heard about.
Okay.
So 1,000 students so far
Okay.
in the 3 years, and not a single repeat career path. Not a
Wait.
single repeat, honestly.
Is that even possible?
It is
How could there be
possible.
1,000 different career
There,
paths?
because let's take environmental for
Okay.
instance. You take environmental has many job titles within environmental
Okay.
field, so we narrow it down.
Wow.
There's there's DNA genetics,
Okay.
which some people would say I'd like to be a doctor, research.
Okay.
Well, doctor of research is very vague.
Right, sure.
So we help narrow
Okay,
that scope, because
okay.
it really boils down to what they want to fix in the world.
So they don't say, I want to be a doctor, and then, so many of them want to be doctors, but each of them want to be a different type of doctor.
Absolutely.
Okay, gotcha. Then
Yeah.
that makes sense. I never really thought of it that way, that they really would be I guess I'm so narrow-minded.
Yeah, you have to,
guess I really am.
take an industry and then you break it down into a degree or a focused education, and then you break it down into job title. And is that job title the starting point or the ending point?
Mhm.
Well, it depends on how you score in personality. Are you born to serve, or are you born to direct, or are you
Wow.
born to create?
Now, is there a percentage that you know of the people that you're, what do you call it, not studying, what do you would call it?
Non-college bound?
No, like when you have a client, what do you call them? You're counseling them?
Students.
You're guiding them?
I'm a
Like, what do you
coach.
consider?
I'm a
Oh, you're
coach.
coaching them,
Yeah.
okay. So on these people who you're coaching, are there a percentage that wanna do something in particular versus, like, would you call them a servant? Would you call them servants?
You have entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, servants, or service-oriented students.
Now, is that like using the word servant? No, I mean, I could totally.
It's not a
understand too.
negative thing.
It's not?
No,
Okay,
because
good.
there's many.
I'm glad that you say that,
There's many students that are here on earth to serve.
to serve, okay.
And that's where they get their enjoyment. That's
Right.
where they get, it's a
Isn't
beautiful
that
thing.
funny how I thought it was negative, but if you think about it, when you serve your country being in the military,
Right.
nobody cares that you said the word
Absolutely.
serve.
Absolutely.
Okay, very good. So are there a percentage that you're seeing, like, 10% are like this, 20% are this, and 80% are that?
Well, because I'm an entrepreneurial minded,
Okay.
I was very intrigued as to find out how many others would be scoring the same way I
Okay.
did. I use a test that was created by Dr. Hanley,
Okay.
Insight Inventory, and then from there, I break it down into my own way of pulling a career path out of a student. So
Okay.
the test was not created to identify your career path. It was created to actually help you communicate better with coworkers
Okay.
and family and friends. So I take this test and I'm able to identify the ones that score similarly.
Okay.
So far out of 1,000 students, there haven't been any duplicates.
Okay,
So there's a lot of personality tests out there that put you in a quadrant,
okay,
and this test does not
Uh-huh.
put you in a box. And entrepreneur-minded people don't want to be put in a box
No.
anyway, so it's a beautiful thing. So with entrepreneurs, I found that between solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, about 30% of that 1,000 students
okay.
score as somebody who is going to own a business.
Really? So 30?
30%. So when you have a classroom of 10 students, only 3 people in that room are even going to understand you, because entrepreneurs are visionaries.
Yes.
They just go all over, and
Right.
it's hard to ground them.
Right,
So they may get bored in school.
okay,
Things may not be moving fast enough.
sure.
With the solopreneur-minded individuals, they know everything. They're very
Meaning?
fact-based,
Oh, okay.
typically. Whereas entrepreneurs are more inclusive, they're more collaborative.
Okay,
Where solopreneurs tend to be the ones that Google their own answer. They
okay,
don't need to be in a classroom setting because people drain them.
okay,
They can do the job themselves.
okay.
Whereas entrepreneurs tend to want a team around them.
That's interesting.
So I can identify that, and actually, I mean, imagine you and I being entrepreneurial minded in school at age 14 or 15 and being told that one day you have enough natural personality and skill to be able to run your own business.
Right,
It's like freedom at that point. When you're in
Right.
9th or 10th grade, it's a freedom, so that now you understand your purpose to finish,
right.
and then while you're finishing, to actually, what's wrong with creating your own business in junior year of high school?
Now, is this the first time you're introducing that idea to a junior high student? Because I'm sure when I was in junior high, nobody said to me, oh, you can have your own business.
No.
Because
yeah.
nobody talks like that in
Correct.
school. They don't talk
Correct.
like that. And like, they didn't talk like that in my day. I don't know if
Yeah.
they're different now.
No, they don't.
So they still don't talk like
Still
that.
don't talk like
So
that.
you're coming in there and you're opening up this whole idea to them that they are drawn to.
Correct.
And then they're excited now, instead of
Yes.
saying, oh, I gotta be in school again.
Yes. And that identifies the leaders, right? So there's a difference between being a leader and being an entrepreneur.
Okay.
There's
what's-
leadership,
oh, that's
there's
interesting.
leadership
Okay.
skills within entrepreneurship,
Okay,
but a leader
okay,
typically is somebody that takes the vision from an entrepreneur and leads the team.
okay,
So they're at that next level down.
okay,
So they're not directors, like the entrepreneur is a director.
okay,
But that leader is someone that can see things from a lot of different angles
okay,
and be able to manage a team, and
Okay.
motivate a team. So WorkIt also offers leadership development for those students. Now, we talked about 30% being solopreneur and entrepreneur. Those students should definitely consider a leadership development course.
Okay,
But then there's the leaders that score not as high as a director,
okay.
but they're very.
I want to
strong.
take this test.
Absolutely. I think you should. I'm
Do
making
older people
assumptions.
take this test?
I'm making assumptions based on how, how much time we've known each other and body language, and I'm making assumptions that you're an entrepreneurial minded person. And I think when we film again, we should confirm that.
Okay, I'll take the test. Just like I'll do the colonics with Melody, I'm gonna take the test for
Right.
you. Well, that's fascinating. Now, do you follow up with those people in the beginning? Like, how does a typical session work with you? Why don't we
Okay,
explain that?
so it's a 2-hour session,
Okay.
and a student.
In a row, in 2 hours in a row? Like,
Yeah.
not one in one?
Right,
Really?
2 hours, no breaks.
Well, you are very engaging, so I could see somebody sitting
It
there
goes
being exciting
fast.
for two
It goes
2
fast.
hours. Okay.
So imagine a flip chart, because that's what currently the tool that I use
Okay.
along with Inside Inventory, which is the personality strength test.
Okay.
And we take the personality test, which takes about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And from there, I introduce the student to themselves based on their strengths, not
Okay.
what they're going to become when they grow up, but
Okay.
just according to their strengths.
Okay.
And from there, they're able to record it to keep it as a keepsake
Okay. Recorded how?
on their phone,
Like an audio.
audio.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Okay.
they can keep that as a souvenir.
Okay.
After that, we move to the flip chart. The flip chart then creates strong words, so strengths.
Okay.
Strengths that they should never forget about themselves, strengths that they can use in creating a resume or cover letter.
Okay. Which is so needing in this day when we look at those resumes, we're like, are you kidding me?
Right. So then the next page is how do you sell yourself in an interview? What
Okay.
makes you the most qualified candidate when you have people with more experience than you? And
Okay.
again, it goes to the resume, the experience versus passion.
Okay. Like it.
So-
Love it. I love that.
So those statements are done in 7 words.
Okay.
7-word statements that really show the passion within
Okay.
their strengths. And we give them 3 choices depending on their audience.
Meaning,
use-
what's your audience?
It could be a college interview.
Oh,
it could be
okay.
an employer.
I got
It
you.
could be a family friend that you're just interviewing or introducing yourself to.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then the final piece is that last page in the flip chart, and that's creating a 7-step career plan. So at this point, we don't know what your career plan is.
Okay.
Some students do come in saying, I know what I'm going to college for, but what we do is we take that and we narrow it down. 90% of the students don't know what they're going to be when they
And
grow up.
when the other people do, look, I don't know what I'm gonna grow up.
We're going
But
to do a
when
class.
when they actually finish up the class, they don't necessarily, when they come into the class, most people have no idea what they want to be.
90% have no
Really?
idea.
They didn't even have an inkling when they were a kid, I want to do this, I want to do that, I think I want to do this. Really?
No, I pull it out of them. I actually take that student, depending, on the age, how far back, but usually around 9 to 12 years old is the time frame where they realize that they could either keep something going that somebody else has created, create something new, or enhance something that's already been created to bring technology further along. Whether you're using your voice, your hands, your scientific mind. This program also helps identify how you learn. So when we're creating those 7-step career plans, how much schooling is going to be involved in you reaching your goal.
Okay.
I can tell by the test scores which ones are fact-based learners, which are going to enjoy a university environment,
Okay.
and which ones are more experiential learners.
Oh, okay.
So I can actually tell that so that it brings calmness to a family. Because when you
Okay.
have parents that are fact-based learners and you have a
Okay.
child that's a visionary, experiential learner, there's friction. There's friction.
Does that happen often?
It
That
does, it does.
Really? I would think
So-
that kids are like their parents, no?
No. It happens often. So the child feels boxed in
Okay.
and almost, feels like they're forced to spend money of the family that they're not going to receive. It's not what they want to do.
Now spend money on college, is that what you mean?
Correct.
So some of the kids, they decide or whatever that they don't want to go to college?
And they're trying to break the news gently to their parents.
Really?
I help them break the news gently to their parents. So, going back to the class, the parents are invited to stay and watch this unfold in 2 hours.
And that doesn't impede, that
No,
doesn't encroach on the child's
no,
privacy or?
No,
Okay.
it's actually, the child feels like they have an advocate.
Oh, I mean you.
Yes, because I'm there for the child.
Right.
I'm there to be a translator
Okay.
to that personality.
Okay.
So that it actually improves the communication at home.
Okay.
Again, going back to inside inventory, it was a tool derived to help communication just in
Okay.
general, whether it's workplace or family. So incorporating all of that with the different personalities and helping the communication. So the rest of the high school years go pretty smoothly.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
or
nice. Or happily at least.
yeah, exactly, or respectfully, because
It's
when you have
respectfully.
an entrepreneurial minded child and your parents are born to serve, they are fearful of how many risks that child is taking.
Sure.
They're very fearful. So you almost have a child who's more powerful than the parents.
Yes.
And I've run into that where
That's
the
interesting.
parents ask advice. How do I handle it when other parents look at me saying, don't you have control over your child at 11 years old? And the answer that I give them is, you've given all the values and morals to your child up to age 10.
Right.
This child is strong enough to take themselves forward.
Right.
You're there just to guide in case
Right.
they derail, but they're so focused on where they're going, especially after the 2-hour class.
Right.
You just stand out,
Stand out, we're gonna run you over.
clear.
Now, how do you deal with, because I think that's a very important point about the college thing, because
Mhm.
you always hear in this day and age, you have to go to college now.
Right.
No matter what, you have to. And I think you're right. I mean, I hate to say that because my parents were very, I guess, you're fact-based people, and it wasn't even a question whether we were going to college. You had to go to college. It wasn't like you have to go to high school, you have to go to college.
Right.
So I went, and which is fine. I'm happy I did. But how do you really, like, my parents would not want you to probably tell me that I don't have to go to college,
Right.
especially nowadays, because you hear it all the time. If you don't have a college degree, you're not going to get a job.
So that's a good question. So we have students that are very hands-on, skilled
Okay.
trades. What I do, because they're fact-based learners, is I present facts
To the parents.
student
Oh,
where
okay.
the parents are listening.
Okay.
So we actually Google while in the class.
Okay.
We Google the different salaries for the interests of which they desire. And combined with my own personal hands-on knowledge of the trade, it gives a confidence level to the parents
Okay.
that it's okay to certify that child versus degree that child.
Oh, okay.
And there's the
Oh,
difference. So
okay.
so whether you're working as an apprentice
Okay.
under somebody to gain your apprenticeship, or you're going to a technical college for 12 to 18 months,
Okay.
it's such a relief to both parties because
They don't have to pay the tuition.
correct, and the child gets to use his or her hands in gaining a job that probably will pay more than a 4-year degree at this time.
I agree.
So providing that education to fact-based parents, I've tested it, it's worked, and the children are very relieved because they can stop fighting with themselves
Right,
and their parents.
And I'll tell you, I was talking to my boiler guy, and he was saying everybody who goes to learn or in their industry is all in their 40s and 50s. There are no more
Yes.
young kids. Now, who's going to fix your boiler when your boiler breaks?
Right.
You need somebody to know that trade, seriously.
Yes.
Because we haven't, figured out how to do, like, boom, I have power in my house without a boiler or heat. So I think it's extremely important for some of these kids who are being forced into college to go. And I also heard a report once that by the time a regular doctor, not maybe a high-class surgeon or whatever, but a regular doctor and a plumber, at the end of their lives, the plumber, they'll make the same amount of money.
And there's
Because the
no
plumber makes a
doubt in my mind.
lot of money
There's no
and
doubt.
doesn't have to pay for all that schooling and all the,
Yes.
insurance that the doctors have to pay and all the problems with the doctors and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
That's fascinating.
and when you take a plumber example, aligning a student with a like-minded individual, that 40 to 50-year-old, who can take that person under their wing.
Right.
That's another benefit of WorkIt, where I align certain students with mentors so that they can get the training from their certification program, but also get the training from somebody who's very experienced.
So you have mentors that you match them with?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, this program is evolving into some great things. So we do the 2-hour program, which
Okay.
is what kicks it off.
Okay,
The students get put into a database,
okay.
and I, because I'm a networker, I
Girl.
score very high on talking.
Her and I both, so that's gonna be a great interview.
So as I network, I am able to find like-minded people to match those students, and it may take 48 hours, it may take 2
Oh.
months, and it may take 6 months, it may take 2 years. But these students know that they're going to receive information from me at a point where it's a surprising point.
Okay.
So I've tested that for the last 3 years, and the students respond very well. And they have coffee with their potential mentor. Sometimes I attend, sometimes I don't.
Okay.
And then I also am aligning them to job opportunities, paid and unpaid.
Okay.
So as young as 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
So that they're building their resume at a younger age.
Wow.
With passion.
Right, and not
With
just,
passion.
I gotta write this resume
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I used to hate that when I had to write a resume, yeah.
It's painful.
Now I will, God willing, never write another resume.
Yeah, you know, I
Because what do you do in that case where the child wants to be an entrepreneur and really doesn't need a resume because he's not
Right.
trying to sell himself to somebody?
correct.
Like
You're doing a
guess-
bio in that case.
Oh, okay.
You're doing a
Yes.
bio.
That's true because Israel the owner
Yeah.
a lot of times is like, could you send me my bio? Because
Yes.
I had to write him a bio.
It's a bio.
again. Okay, that's interesting. Do you do that with the kids?
That'd be part of leadership development.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So as, you know, like I said, they're in the database, and then from there, there's other classes that they can take within WorkIt,
Okay.
which would grow their natural skill.
Now, how does that work? So they have the 2-hour class or the 2-hour session with you,
Right.
and then you offer them other
Other
classes
services.
with other students, or is it a classroom sort of thing? Is it
Yeah.
one-on-one?
So
also?
leadership development,
Okay.
maybe a summer program where they would be with other students. There's also individualized coaching
Okay.
that can be done once a week, once a month. There's
Okay.
also accountability coaching, which is
Okay.
different than leadership development coaching.
Okay.
And that is holding them accountable to their 7 steps in their career plan.
Okay.
So depending on the age of the student, they may meet monthly, may meet twice a year, just to see how on track they are to
Okay.
getting to their goal of getting the job,
Right. Right.
the dream job.
Right. Or creating their own business.
Right, creating their own business, the 30%ers.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of.
That's 30% is pretty good, actually.
So they're not all entrepreneurs, so there's the
Oh.
bully solopreneurs, and I don't want to
okay,
call
okay.
them bullies in a negative way. It's just who they are.
Okay.
They would prefer to have a business where they don't have to be accountable to other people except themselves.
Okay.
So they're more apt to hire subcontractors
Okay.
that are viewed as experts and pay when the service is complete versus
Okay.
managing employees.
Okay.
It's just more difficult for them to do
Okay.
that.
Very nice.
Um,
Wow. So, let me see what else she has here. We have another thing. I'm going to be your boss someday.
Right.
This is another
Yeah.
prop we have here. Work it.
So we have here a 10-year-old
10?
girl, yes,
Okay.
and she tested out where she is entrepreneurial. She absolutely needs to direct, and she absolutely loves people. So
Okay.
she needs to be in an environment where it's a humanitarian based
Okay.
entrepreneurship. So
Okay.
there's something that has to impact humanity.
Okay.
At 10 years old, she's been given that green light to start to evolve that dream
Okay.
of how she wants to help humanity.
Okay.
And you know, whether it's a nonprofit that she wants to get her feet wet and build, or build her own nonprofit.
Okay.
But she has to learn about different areas of humanitarian needs
Okay.
where she could put a fix in.
Okay.
So that's what she's working on now. But again, entrepreneurial spirit. So
Okay.
she's already started to develop like gift cards and you know, with the art on it. So she's trying different things to sell, small things to
Okay.
test the water.
Okay.
And then you have here this gentleman who actually created.
I love his
my logo.
glasses.
Yeah, he's actually destined for marketing. He had
Really?
no idea that he was destined for marketing until I walked into his class and gave my vision to a group of 20 students, and then spontaneously offered a competition as to who can come up
Really?
with a logo.
Oh, you offered the.
I did.
Okay.
And 4 students raised their hands saying they wanted to participate.
Okay.
And within 2 weeks, he delivered this
Oh,
logo.
nice.
And
Did you have to pay him?
I did. So that was his first gig. And at that point, he was still in high school. So
Okay.
at that point, he was better directed to what his next step is in learning.
Okay.
And so he's currently in college for marketing.
Oh,
And he still works
nice.
with me, so
That's
he's
cute.
building his resume.
I love his classes.
Yeah, he's definitely he's an artistic mind. So
Where is this background?
that's actually in
Just
in
curious.
New Britain, Connecticut.
Oh, okay, you're Britain. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And then this one here is a little fuzzy, and I was just trying to portray that we do Skype classes. So this
Oh,
one
that's a
was,
Skype picture.
Yeah, this is a Skype picture, and this was in Daytona Beach, Florida. And she had no idea what her inner passion was, and this got pulled out within 2 hours. And event planning.
So you actually could do the 2-hour class or 2-hour session online or wherever it is.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Right, and I do it internationally as well.
So we have our smartboard. We did an actual Zoom
Absolutely.
in thing on the smartboard. It came out really
I'm
nice.
looking forward to
It was
using
really
that.
fun. Yeah.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah.
So
And
that
that's
represents the
interesting.
Skype.
So
And
you're
then-
really not even bound by having to be in front of them,
Correct.
and they feel that they get the same benefit.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, and the tracking, so I come back for the success stories
Okay.
and kind of watch their growth on social media.
Okay.
So if I sense that something is derailing, I'll send a nudge
Okay.
or maybe connect them with somebody who can get them back on track.
Okay.
But so far there really hasn't been a lot of off track
Right.
out of those 1,000 students.
Right. Right.
So
right.
this is 2 sisters.
Oh,
So I do
really?
family sessions together.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that doesn't take away from one or the other.
No.
Interesting.
So that was already tested as well. So this is a year ago, and both students are well on their way. The animal science. She got into a school that focuses
Oh, great.
on animal science in a high school.
Now,
so she's
that's a very specific thing, being
Yeah.
a veterinarian. She
Yeah.
had no idea that's what she wanted to do?
not a
Did she
specialist.
like animals?
Yeah,
I mean, what part did she like? Did she like medicine or did she like animals?
animals, and
Okay.
what this says is she wants the veterinary science, but with an extreme focus on dogs. Now, it
That's a good
doesn't
one to
break
do,
it down
because a
because
lot of
veterinary
dogs.
is
Right,
big.
sure.
You can do large animals or small. Hers is a focus on dogs, and what she's done in the year and a half since this picture was taken is she has started to train service dogs, as well as
Oh.
looking into training police dogs, and looking and getting accepted to an agricultural high school so that she can.
Oh, she's not in high school?
She's just starting high school.
She's just starting
Yeah,
high school?
this is her. This is the 8th grade.
Oh, I
picture.
thought she was going to college.
No, this is an 8th grade picture.
Kids these
So
days, they look so old. I'm like, oh my God, they look like they're adults.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, so she's young.
She is, and she's building her resume in 9th grade.
Oh, so she's actually going out and doing that as a grammar school child.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. Where does she like? Are these all Connecticut? These Connecticut,
Connecticut, and then
Florida.
Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now how? Okay, so now here's one with an artist.
Mhm.
Okay, now veterinarian. Okay, you know how they're going to make money. How? I mean, not to say that an artist can't make money, but I'm very
Correct.
practical.
Yeah.
How is she going to make money being an artist?
Okay, so this particular student is in this picture only 7th grade, so she's young. She's only
7th grade.
12.
Oh, so she has 7, 8, 9.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
she's not even
young. So
okay.
what she identified.
She's not even in high school yet.
Correct. So she took the test, and I can identify artists. Now, artist is very, very broad. It could be music, drawing.
Okay.
So what she's doing is she's narrowing her scope each year. So she's
Okay.
taking more art classes. Hers is more on the graphics.
So like
side.
computer graphics or something
Yeah,
like
so-
okay, so she
so-
can make money doing that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
she's, as she gets closer to high school, she'll identify which high school, maybe a technical high school might be best for her. Not sure, but she's at least knows that when selecting her curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
art is something that's gonna fuel her.
Okay. And she had no idea about that? What did she, do you ask them what they think before they come in and take your class? Just to see a baseline, like have a.
Yeah,
like,
actually,
ooh.
in some of the classes, I actually have them write in the back of their book where I don't see, at the beginning of the class, what they think they're gonna be when they grow up.
Right.
And I can tell you that 95% of those students that I've asked to do that, it ends up being different.
Really?
Based
Very
on,
different?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for instance, one started off as a chef
Okay.
and then ended up as a voiceover actor. You can't make this stuff up, you know?
It's like,
It's just, wow.
you gotta watch my diametrically
Uh-huh.
opposed video where they put on that timeline.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah.
Now, why would they, do you ask them what made you want to be a chef? Did they have influence from their parents or
No, they like to
outside?
eat.
I like to eat, so
You
I
know,
want to be a chef.
Yeah,
No, I don't mean to laugh, but that's interesting.
Well, I'm going to give you a statistic here. I did some research with the Connecticut technical high schools, and in 2013, 2014, it was found that 37% of the tech school students were in culinary. Well, that's a huge population to be becoming chefs.
Right. That's a tough line of work, too.
And no one's really allowed these students to be, I guess, educated or informed that some of them are actually restaurant owners. And that's the entrepreneur,
okay.
right?
Okay, right.
So having a program like WorkIt going into the schools to actually sort the students, the 30%ers, to allow them to grow from a different angle.
Right.
Leadership development, all
Right.
that. And that's one piece that's very much lacking in
Right.
the school systems is we're not identifying those entrepreneurs
Right.
and challenging them in a different way.
Right.
Instead, we might be sending them to the principal's office.
Right. Sure.
For disciplinary
Right.
action.
Exactly.
Because they're trying to.
Because nobody understands them and they're out
Right,
of control.
right.
Yeah.
So when they reach this program, it's like they're set free.
Right.
They realize that somebody does finally get them.
Right. And they probably feel like now they could deal with having to go to school because they know there's an end game that
Right.
they agree to and not that just somebody said, well, you gotta do this when you grow up. I'm
They
like,
need to
oh,
be in the
alright.
driver's seat.
Yeah.
And this program allows every student to be in the driver's seat because they're creating their plan with coaching from me. Because like I said, many of the job titles or the career paths I've not heard of yet. They're more informed than I am in educating me.
Uh-huh.
So it's just whether or not the scoring and the body language and the discussion that we have makes me feel confident that they're going in the right direction.
Uh-huh.
And yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting. I always loved what you did. I always, from the very moment you told me what you did, I thought it was really fascinating. But to go deeper and deeper and learn more about it, it almost seems like, oh my God, you have to get out there and talk to every kid.
Right.
It's almost like that now. It's like, once something goes off in your head, I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing till now? This is
Right.
not going to work out.
Right.
And you can see that the world is what it is, but that's...
And we have a lot of catching up to do because
Yes.
there's a lot of kids that need guidance and a green light. You can see the green light in my logo, which was created.
Oh, I didn't get that.
The green light. It's all about. I'm serving as the green light to let you move
Oh, I
forward.
did not get that.
Yeah. So
Thank you for
there's no
pointing
red
that out.
light. There's
No,
no red
that's
light.
right. I'm
Just
like,
keep
what?
going. Just keep going.
Let's keep going. When the cop pulls you over, say, Laura told me to keep going. That's going to be
Right?
nice. And so the 7-step career planning,
Yes.
resume building, entrepreneurial training, and leadership development. We talked about that.
Right.
Is this your website?
It is.
Workit.careers.com
Yep.
or?
No, just workit.careers.
Oh, there's no .com? Is this like a .com?
It is.
Really?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's no www, it's just
Oh, there's no
workit.careers.
www either? Are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
See, you teacher me something. I didn't know that. I thought everything had to be. Okay,
Yeah.
so just type in workit.careers into the
Correct.
thing, not the search thing.
That's right.
Oh, okay, great. Very nice.
And it'll come up.
Beautiful. What else do we have? Do we have anything on here?
No, that's
Stickers
it.
and that. So what else can you tell me that I have not that I have not touched upon that you'd like to say?
Well, I work with employers to
Oh,
help
okay.
them identify their needs. I also do
So how do you do that? Like you go to the employer?
human resources or they're
Okay.
owners of small businesses. I like to work with the smaller businesses because they tend to be more open to the training ground
Okay.
that I'm about ready to present.
Okay.
So I'll interview students in high school. I will align the passion with the right employer,
Okay.
and then offer consulting to acclimate that student into an environment where they're maybe working with a lot of people with many years experience, and sometimes they don't know how to train the the younger ones,
They
maybe.
look good. And now, and the owners are open to this because they're having a hard time finding the right match, or what's, oh, is that
Yeah,
it?
they're tired of a revolving door. They're tired of paying a lot of money for skilled trade
Okay,
when, so it's costing them. And being able to assign certain jobs to a entry-level person
right.
is something that they're open to.
Again, sometimes I find that we're having a problem too. It's like you really can't, where are the people who want a job? I don't know where they are.
Right.
They're not in Brooklyn. So if you want a job in Brooklyn, we got one.
Yeah, and I think Connecticut feels the same way.
Is it, what is going on there? What's that? Why
Well,
is that
again,
happening?
there's a lot of people that are retiring. So we
Okay.
have a lot of our baby boomers are retiring
Okay.
nationwide. And then we have our millennials, which, a lot of them tend to be more subcontractor minded,
Okay.
project based.
Okay.
It's a different work ethic
Okay.
than what baby boomers are accustomed
Okay.
to. So, like I said, I offer my consulting services to small businesses to acclimate this new generation
With the
into
new
with
ideas, yeah.
some people that actually are needing to give their information, give their training to these younger ones
Right.
without criticism, because it's just a different workforce.
Okay.
And so being able to transition that,
Okay.
some of the business owners just don't have the patience for that, so they'll call me in to be able to transition that and help with the bonding of so that they don't lose people
Right.
and continue to complain, I can't find any good people.
Right.
What we're hearing in Connecticut is a lot of, I can't find qualified people.
Okay.
And it goes back to when we started this video, is define qualified.
Okay.
And my definition of qualified is passionate.
Okay.
And the answer lies, in my opinion, in the objective. Is what does that person want in life?
Right.
And it's really put in the objective. If the objective matches your business owner passion and what you need as a business owner, then forget the rest of the resume. And I know that goes against all HR rules, but
It's all right.
the rest, 85% is passion for your success in any business.
Yes, I believe that.
The rest of it can be trained.
Sure, you can learn.
The
everything.
rest of it
Yes.
can be trained.
Yes.
Does require a little bit of patience to train, but if you have passion, the training should come pretty easy.
Right. And it lasts because it's an energy
Yes.
that's been really driving them and not
Yes.
just like, oh, I guess I gotta do this because my mother told me to, or
Right.
whatever. Wow.
Yeah, so it's business partnership, it's school partnership, it's parental partnership. There's a lot of partnerships with WorkIt, and being able to be that go-to resource for students. With schools, there's not a lot of resources available to a graduate from high school.
Okay.
You can't go back to guidance and ask for help.
Okay, that's
You
true.
can't, but they can go to WorkIt and ask for
Okay.
help.
That's good.
So being that resource for students after graduation.
And then they could go to a guidance counselor in college or what have you. But if they don't go to college, then they don't want to have that
Correct.
either, number one. And
Correct.
number two, why are you different from them?
They are not trained on the personality style.
Okay.
As advisors
Okay.
and guidance counselors. That's not where.
What are they trained for? Because I know when I went to my guidance counselor in college, all I remember him saying is most people don't graduate in 4 years, so don't worry about it. I was like, are you kidding me? I am getting out of here in 4 years. And I did. Now, good, you think he told me that because I had to take spring courses and I don't know about summer.
Yeah.
But I did not know that. They didn't really have enough time. But that's all the only guidance I got.
Yeah, what I'm hearing from the students is, if they spend 15 minutes in their 4 years in the guidance office,
Okay.
that's about the amount of time
Okay,
that they
good.
get for career development.
I mean, good in the sense that validates what I
So
experienced.
I'm a resource for these guidance counselors, not a threat, just a resource to be able to direct the students, because I'll end up making the guidance counselor's life a lot easier.
Okay.
A lot of guidance counselors are kind of put into a social worker role,
I bet. Especially
unfortunately,
these days.
because of family communications or teacher-student communications. So there's a lot of things that relate to communication issues, but they don't have a lot of time to spend with the student to actually find out what their true passion is.
Okay.
And it's almost like they're grasping at straws.
Right.
Because that 15 minutes is almost up and somebody else needs to come
Right.
in.
It's like this, you could go into the gym, they say, okay, use that machine this way, this way, this way, but if you get a personal trainer,
Right.
then you really learn how to use the
Exactly.
machine. So,
Exactly.
that's interesting.
So it's a new service, it's a new product that's available nationwide, and you know, it's from the ground up. This is an entrepreneurship.
Grassroots, love
It's
it.
grassroots. it's fixing a problem that is coming from resumes lacking passion, and people too often saying, "I want to retire. I can't retire. I can't wait to retire." So I'm in the business to remove that statement from people's, you know, words, to be able to say, what is your legacy going to be
Oh, nice.
when you die? Not when you retire, when you die.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
so it takes away that whole retirement thing.
Good, because, I don't know.
If you're born to serve, you're gonna serve until you're 90, if you live that long.
Right,
It's just who you are.
right. Wow, that's very nice. Really, I mean, I've learned a lot, and I thought I really knew what you did. But I didn't realize it was so deep.
Yeah, and it seems to be going a little bit deeper each year.
What are your plans for your career?
Well, I think
For career
eventually
in-
franchising.
Oh, okay.
Franchising would be the ultimate, because in order to capture all these lives, there's, I believe I heard 4 million babies born every year in America,
Really?
which means that there's 4
How many
million.
people die every year? I don't mean to be
not sure.
gruesome, but
I'm
I'm
not
curious
sure.
as where our,
I'm not
okay,
sure,
so
but
4 million babies.
So talk about recyclable energy, right?
Wow.
It's just recycled. It's sustainable, right? So I have a lot of catching up to do before, you know, we continue sending kids to college with no direction.
Endgame, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no,
there really is.
and no,
Yeah.
and a lot of money spent for
Right.
nothing.
My niece and nephew are in college, and I'm sure they are going to have to finish college because of where they come from. They have to go to college, but we don't mean to be, you know, like like exactly what you were
Right.
saying we shouldn't do. But there is that. I think what happens with those kids, like you said before, is this pressure in their heads that their parents are spending so much money that it's almost like another worry for a child that they shouldn't have. That I didn't have that when I was a
Right.
kid. We didn't worry about, well, we worried about money, but not in the sense of how we're gonna pay for college. College was nowhere near expensive.
Right, and I think the whole industry, the college industry, is changing rapidly because it needs to.
Mhm.
And then I think you're going to see a rise in certification programs, and you can almost kind of feel it now. But being able to direct these students into a less expensive, but yet more effective,
Mhm.
more focused education.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, I'd like to see more of that education in grades 9 through 12, so that they don't have to wait till college.
Mm-hmm.
We should be incorporating it in the high schools.
How did we get so, I don't even know if we're off track, but how did we get so, because even I was talking to my cousin's kids and they're like, you don't understand, it's so competitive now. I'm like, because we wanted to do something, like, I gotta study. I'm like, what do you mean you gotta study? It's Christmas break, let's go do the, no, you don't understand. I'm like, you're not even in college yet, what are you studying for? They had to study for their, what is that, the SATs? I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? I didn't really study for my SATs. And she's like, well, it was you
Yeah.
know, things are different now. Everything is so competitive. And I feel badly because listen, I'm all for competitiveness. But to put that much pressure on a kid who's not even out of high school, it didn't even make sense. College, okay, should be competitive to a degree. I 100% believe in that. Like if you're the really smart ones, go to Harvard, go to Yale, go wherever you gotta go. But I don't understand why everybody's gotta go to Harvard and Yale.
Right.
Why?
They don't. And that's what this program offers, is you have choices. And let's weigh out all the top 3 choices and why you chose them. So we go deep as to why you're choosing these 3 choices. If
Yeah.
Yale's one of them, that's great. Why?
Right.
What is it that they're focusing on that interests you? And is it leading to your legacy?
Right.
So,
It's fascinating.
so yeah,
It really is.
it really helps them go within themselves and clear out some of the cobwebs and clear out some of the doubt and fear. And again, I welcome the parents to sit in because it helps them better support their child
Mhm.
emotionally, and it helps the child stop walking on eggshells.
That's sad.
And especially, we both know growing up, in high school, you may become more reserved as far as your words because you're afraid of criticism. So depending on what parents you have, you may just withhold information, just keep it to yourself. So a lot of parents come to me and say, but my child never was like this. It started around 12 years old, 11, 12, and so all of a sudden they started to change and not talk to me as much. So this class helps to clear that air so that they can talk more openly.
Which
so,
is a problem.
Yeah.
Because I think that suppression of a productive communication, not screaming, yelling, is a big problem as to why kids are exploding at 20-something years
Right.
old. It's because they've been told to be quiet, you stick it to this little mold, everybody gotta go to college, and, I never thought about that, because in our day, I don't know how, I happen to have gone to a high school where many of the kids went to college, but it was just because that's the high school I went to, because I was going to college.
Right.
But many of the people I know did not go to college, from other parts of my life at all.
Yeah.
And they survived.
Yeah, the definition of success is different for everybody.
Yeah.
And, if you've got a lot of pressure to impress or give back to your family, a lot of kids will take that pressure very seriously, and some of it will come more naturally than others. Every personality is different. Sisters and brothers are not the same.
Do you do any statistics on the truth about how much money you really make? Because when I think about it, all of the wealthy people I know didn't go to college. Now, how do you answer that one?
Entrepreneurs, and I'm going to say this on video because the next time we meet together, we're going to actually, after the testing, my guess for you is that you're entrepreneurial minded, but you are very fact based, and you enjoy the research that somebody else has done, and you analyze it to the point where you might be able to add a spin to it to create something, an enhancement that you can call your own, which is different than my entrepreneurship, right? So my entrepreneurial is I love to direct and I love people, which you and I probably score similarly on. You're an urgent person, and I'm an urgent person, so 3 out of 4, because there's 4 numbers. So 3 out of 4, we're like soul sisters.
Okay.
But then that 4th number is where we're opposite. We're opposite. Give you a book, makes you happy. Give me a book, it makes me mad.
Really?
Yeah. Because
when I write my book, you'll like it.
Right. And for me, I view it as I was actually put on earth to create something that somebody else will study later on. Versus being thrown personality tests my way, different people's, to say, you should try this, you should try this. But I don't, my whole format is not based on personality tests. It's based on body language, pulling information from you, but those 4 numbers give me enough to get the party started.
Now, how did you get into this?
Well, I've used this testing in the workplace for 30 years to build strong teams, work teams.
Right.
And then I said, can I use this test for children? Because the words are pretty easy to follow. And I said, I'm going to try it.
Okay.
And it worked.
Okay.
So I've been using the test. But how I've created the format, it took about 12 months.
Oh, I think it took me 12 years.
No, 12 months. So giving the person the test and then being able to ask the questions and getting it to a point where I felt comfortable with my skill and pulling it from them, and then adding the 7-word pitches, the sales pitches, and then creating the plan. That took about 12 months, and then testing it out with small groups, large groups.
Very nice.
Yeah. So it's evolving. So
everything, God willing, is always evolving.
So my fact-based entrepreneur, and I'm more of the visionary dreamer entrepreneur, that is more testing it from the gut. It's more.
I have to have my.
It's how I learn. Is from the gut.
The numbers aren't there. We're not doing it.
Right. Exactly. So your fear lies more on the money side, and I have no fear of money. So that makes us opposite of each other.
Well, I know about fear, but if the money's not there,
why
would you do it as a career? See, I'm not a servant.
Correct.
It's like,
Correct.
doesn't
So,
work.
so we talk about that with the students, those students that actually score very high on precision, which is where you are, the fact-based learners, that actually, the end goal is to make sure there's enough in there for retirement financially. Whereas somebody like myself might say, it's good to have that, but I care that 10 million students have their career path, because that's like $1 million to me. You know, so it's just a different mindset. And being able to help those students that are very driven by the finances to be able to be with like-minded people and not become so fearful of that retirement fund to where they're not enjoying
Living
life.
their life, right.
That's
They're worried
the
about
danger.
the
That's the
future,
danger. So we
right.
talk about that at 10, 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, and the parents, it's amazing. The parents actually come back and say, I can see that. I can see that already with him or her.
Right.
Where they're getting their allowance or they're getting their birthday money and they're not doing
Enjoying
anything with it.
But then I would think most kids these days spend it all too much. Is that true or no?
Well, I mean, I
Do
don't
you-
know the
I guess not.
percentage.
Yeah.
I think, again, it probably falls into that 30%. You know, the 30% are entrepreneurs and all of that 30%, I haven't identified how many are solopreneurs, but those solopreneurs tend to be more of the money hoarders. They tend to be, you know, they do, and so it's just, you know, but you're different, and like I said, 1,000 people, no one scored exactly the
That's
same.
amazing.
You are
That's amazing.
more of an entrepreneur, but that last number,
Little piece,
and I'm
yes.
assuming because we haven't done the
No,
test yet,
I agree with you.
but that last piece puts you in a relatable position with a solopreneur.
Right. And it's interesting because I do see that, and I have been trying to break out of that soulpreneur, you know,
Yeah.
however you say
Yeah.
it, definitely, and more into that entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
you like to collaborate,
Yeah.
you love people energy.
Right.
Solopreneurs, true ones, don't like people energy.
Right. And I usually, like most of the times, I tell people, I am so an introvert, and all I want to do is stay in my own little room and do
Yeah.
my own little thing. But that's like when you're young, and I think that's also part, I was going to ask you that before, about how you take somebody who truly is that kind of energy, but wants to break out and expand a little. Like somebody like me who, 20 years ago, without a doubt, put me in a corner by myself with my little computer, I don't need anybody. I love it. Now, maybe I'm trying to be a little more social, to try to be a little expanded. Like,
Okay.
how do you deal with that?
All right, so with you, I would have been able to tell at 11, 12 years old that you were born to be an expert. So not only are you
An expert?
entrepreneurial, but that score of
Oh,
precision
okay.
actually puts you to become an expert in whatever it is that you want to become an expert in. But you were born to be an expert. So therefore, in order for you to gain enough knowledge, you must collaborate, you must get out there and network, you must find your like-minded people so that you can gain more knowledge about of your passion.
I see.
So that's, I think, the arena that you've entered into this part of your life is you need to gain more knowledge to become more solidified in your area of expertise, because people who score high on precision tend to beat themselves up for not being precise enough.
Yes, 100%.
And
Oh,
that,
yeah.
again, with scores in the classroom, they are terrible on themselves. Whereas the visionaries
Yeah.
care less. B
Well,
minus,
we're moving.
we're moving. Green light, go.
I'll leave that one behind.
Right?
That's interesting.
But if I had a parent that was very demanding on A+ or nothing, it would be not a good environment for my
Somebody like you.
personality.
Right.
Right? So.
And things don't have to be perfect for them to work,
No.
honestly.
No, and like going back to what you said, most entrepreneurs have never gone to college. Solopreneurs, inventors, solopreneurs mainly have, but again, fact-based learners all went to college and loved it.
Yes, I liked it. I loved to go to
Yeah.
school. Yes. Yeah.
And you're a lifelong learner,
Yes.
so you're not stopping.
Yes.
So, you know, whatever you're fueling your knowledge with right now may not be a university environment, but it's schooling
Sure.
for you,
Yeah, 100%.
because you're learning from other experts.
Yes. Interesting.
Yeah,
This
so-
is really interesting.
So it's there's a lot.
Do you
of-
work with like 40 and 50 year
I
olds?
do. I work with up to age 60. You know, people
Now, how do you,
transitioning.
is it 60 just because nobody after 60 has come to you, or you just cut it off there?
Nobody else over 60 has come to me because, you know, at 60 you might be looking for a part-time job still, just to, you might have been downsized from corporate America and you're just looking for something part-time.
Right, but after that, you're kind of going into retirement.
Yeah,
Why not?
I would
Enjoy
use it,
life.
I would use it as a communication tool to better communicate with your kids or grandkids, more so than career path.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Very nice. That's really interesting.
so there's a lot of different veins to this heart.
And arteries.
Yeah, and it's growing.
Very nice.
So,
Beautiful.
I can't wait to do the test on you.
Yes,
and
I
we'll-
can't wait to do it. Work it. Come in, what's the name of the
WorkIt.careers.
We're gonna do workit.careers. No .com, no www. Anything else? Your
We-
final words.
Yeah, we actually created a new website that's there, but it still needs construction. But it's workitusa.com.
Workitusa.com.
So when you brought up the .com before,
Okay.
we want to make sure that people understand that this is not only a Connecticut company but a USA.
Okay.
Um,
And I gotta tell you the truth, it's a little confusing if there's no .com.
Right. Again, I'm visionary, so that's coming up. The dot careers. I actually wanted workit.workit, but it was already taken.
Okay.
So, or
We won't go
workit.work. So workit.careers is the website, or workitusa.com.
I like that. Workitusa.com.
And again, it's a 2-hour class, and it's available 7 days a week because we understand that students' schedules
Sure.
are crazy. And again, 2 hours changes lives.
Yeah, a second can change a life. Imagine 2 hours. The Bridge Healing Arts Center in Farmington, Connecticut. Or on the web at workit.careers or workitusa.com. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay. All right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.